What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show. We've got a great one lined up for you guys today because Bitcoin and crypto are pumping. However, there's a lot of people on the internet, especially over the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, who have been complaining about something over and over and over again. And that is the institutional adoption of crypto. People will say that this is not what crypto is supposed to be, that institutions are going to ruin it. Well, here's the deal. You can either get with the program or you can complain. Either way, you're going to lose out on a lot of money if you do not understand and embrace the institutional adoption. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more in today's show. Do not go anywhere. Smash the like, hit subscribe, hit the follow. But first, we got to roll the intro. Holy cow, T-Shroom. We already have almost 200 people in here across YouTube and X. Got a lot of likes already over there, but how are you doing today?
Tim, I'm doing better than I deserve.
Good.
A lot of people just cannot get enough Tim, so we had to give you double Tim. There was a little bit of an echo in the intro, and that was intentional.
It sounded
intentional that we needed double Tim in the intro. You're welcome, bros. Smash the like. Tim, how are you doing today?
I was so busy in the pre-show, I didn't set up as I normally do. I get my chat up here so I can engage with people throughout the show and not miss any of their great comments. But, as a whole, very good day. We had our first live trading session this morning, had some wins, had some losses. I think we overall netted profitable. At least I did on mine. If people copied them to a T, not a whole lot. But that's because we had I'm not going to say unexpected. We talked about the macro perspective of this rallying yesterday. I just thought it looked like on the charts we were going to go down a little bit further before the rally. But hey, you know what? I never complain about a pump. And for anyone who's ever trading and you potentially are in a short position and you end up losing it, this is why we always preach a split portfolio. You have your long-term holds and you have your short-term trading. In fact, unless you're just a super bear and you hate cryptocurrency, which maybe that describes some of you guys, a lot of you, the advantage of shorting, the advantage of trading in short positions, it's actually to help. It's helped to go against your long-term hold. It's an expression that we called hedging. Right. So if I'm long-term just holding my Bitcoin in my long-term portfolio and the price of Bitcoin goes to the downside, well, yes, my portfolio goes to the downside. I don't want to sell my long-term portfolio. I want to let that volatility ride. But if I see bearishness coming, rather than selling my large portfolio, I have that small amount that I trade and I enter short and I can pick up some profit or create, what's that great word? Dry powder to buy the dip next time around. And sometimes the trades don't work out, and that's completely okay because you know what? While my trading went profitable and then came down this morning, my long-term portfolio just went up. It is the power of investing. Cannot wait to do it again tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Wednesday, we don't have live trading. We're going to do it again Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to do some live trading with us here in the Investing Bros VIP trading group, join the membership right now. Pro Bros memberships. Go check out that link down below. Let's see. Got a good poll here in chat from Crux. Are you doing better than you deserve? I'm interested to see how this one goes out. At the moment, it's not. No, people are saying that's only for T-Shroom, it sounds like. So maybe that was the wrong question to ask. What else do we have here? Eric Wallen bullying Crux. If they weren't such good friends, I would step in and intervene, because we don't allow bullying, but sometimes friendly bullying is okay. We need to bring back friendly bullying, T-Shirt. Probably shouldn't say that on YouTube. YouTube, I apologize. That was a joke, probably poorly timed. Do not demonetize our video for promoting online bullying. We're promoting online friendships, and friendships sometimes include a little bit of razzing,
competition.
Competition. There we go. All right, T-Shroom, we're having fun here. I'm going to very much admit, I am loving my new schedule, being at home, getting a lot done. But because I've been so productive today, I do feel, I'm going to be very honest with people, I do feel like I'm a little less prepared for today's live stream because I've been doing so many other things into the live show. We still have great stuff. We still have great stories, great charts.
Be fantastic.
But I'm wondering how my organization is going to be on this show. Let's see how it goes. If you guys love me and T-Shroom anyway, go ahead and smash the like button. Challenge for the day. We already have 430 people watching total. Ooh. We already have 400 people in on YouTube, right? At least I see 390, so I'm rounding up there.
Yep.
Yesterday, we could not get to 350 despite the fact that we had 600 concurrent viewers. Today, I feel like it's very fair based on this viewership. We're 5 minutes in. I'm pushing you guys to 400 likes. 400 likes, and we will redeem that $50 giveaway from yesterday. It's just 400 likes. You guys can absolutely do it.
We got this.
While you are smashing the like button, T-Shirt, let's go take a look at the chart and getting one of our predictions from yesterday correct. Hold on, don't show my screen yet. Remember yesterday when we were looking at the bubbles and it was a sea of red, and we made a prediction that the next day would be green. Go ahead and show my screen. But boom! All right, well, timing was off there. See, I told you guys my preparation was off today. Sea of green. A lot of green here on the bubbles, except for HNT. I don't know why they didn't get the memo. Everything else that's in the red is just barely in the red, but a lot of big gainers here today. IMX is looking like the biggest gainer of the top 100, 15% rally to the upside. TIA had been struggling, but it's up 14%. SUI up 9.9. Now, you know what's crazy is SUI was one of the coins that we shorted this morning in profit right before this massive rally, so that is a good sign to see it is up. But I still got my long there. Injective, Near, Uni, Tau, all doing extremely well today. FET here as well. It is a bullish day. The question, though, is can it be sustained? Will we keep moving on in this direction? Let's go over to Bitcoin on a short time frame. Now, I just actually put this into our chat. I am not looking at a short just yet. If you guys are over in our trading group, I'm gonna give the YouTube community a little alpha here. But there's a potential short position here on Bitcoin, and the reason why is because technically it looks like we're about to get our sell signal, red reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow. But I told the community, let's wait until the money flow crosses below. All right, so that's one thing, boom. And then the second thing we're kind of watching right now is Bitcoin hovers at 60,500. We've got a major breaker block, a bullish breaker block up above us. I want to see if we can potentially come down here towards 60,000. If that's the case, I want to look for an entry. I might even wait for a little bounce back up to 60,300, but then look for a short all the way down here to this bullish breaker block where we also have our blue smart trail right in here. You guys can see that massive level of support. This is a signal that it is not 100% of the time, but it is more often than not. If you get a sell signal from your oscillator, which it looks like we are getting, and if you also have a smart trail down below, that usually ends up getting tapped. That would bring the price back down towards $59,200, $59,000, a $100 area. That's what I'm looking at in the short term, but it's not a guarantee. Why is it not a guarantee? Because we broke through a level of resistance this morning that we have been talking about for the last couple of days, and it is a very good level of support for Bitcoin. If I'm going out here to the daily chart, you guys will see it's been this red line of resistance. We've now had 3 touches on this line. One back here on July 29th, back when we were almost back to $70,000. Another one with a lower high here on August 25th. And then more recently, we touched it back here on September 14th. But on these lower time frames, like the 4-hour and 1-hour, we have broken through, and we did it with an increased volume histogram. That's what's down here. I love seeing this. I love seeing resistance be broken, matched with high volume candles. So at the moment, while I told you on that 1-hour chart, if we were to lose, I'm not going to be emotional here. I'm not going to ignore anything. But if we lose this yellow breaker block, if we turn it, if we make it go away, that means that this support is not going to hold up. This red line is not going to turn into support. But at the moment, it is a strong level of support at the moment. What you're going to kind of look for right here, potentially with a take profit up above us, is a bounce off this line, a move back up here towards 61,000. And if we do that, all of a sudden now we are looking for a long position up to 62, potentially even up as high as $63,000. That's what we're watching right now. On the micro time frames, though, if we got to zoom out here, we are still under major buy signals from back here on September. I think we got the signal technically around September 8th. If we were to come back over here into our oscillator, we got it technically right here. All right, September 9th. So on that candle right there, but we're under a daily buy signal with our smart trail still. It actually got touched this morning, but I think we're at least going to make it up here to the top of it. So even more reason to look for $63,000 on Bitcoin coming on up your way. If that level is broken, and more specifically, if we get very good news tomorrow, you guys know what tomorrow is? It's FOMC day. In fact, you're going to hear other people say this, but I do believe this is the most important, greatest FOMC day we've had of all of 2024. And I'm going to say it's more important than any FOMC day we had in 2023. So the most important FOMC meeting that we have had in 2 years, it's happening tomorrow. We are going to go live special tomorrow early, probably around 1:50. It's a really weird time. I know we just want to be live when we get the exact number at 2 o'clock. We want to be live and kind of do our analysis and then watch the Jerome Powell interview with you. And it's going to be a long show because we're then going to wait till he's done and break it on down. So tomorrow you're probably looking at like a 1.5 to 2 hour long live stream, but it's going to be worth it because we're going to be watching the most important FOMC meeting we have had in over 2 years. And the reason I'm saying it's the most important one is because it's when we will get the first rate cut we have had in years. The question is it 25 or is it 50? And what that number dictates will also impact where Bitcoin's price will go. Let's go back to my screen here one more time here, T-Shroom. I've said this before, but I want to remind people kind of where we are looking at. We do have some major support or major resistance sitting up here at $65,000. But if we can break through 65,000, it would be the first time since back in March of this year that we set a higher high on Bitcoin price action. That is going to be something major. If we get 25 basis points, it's something that I'm going to be watching to happen within the next week. However, if for some reason we would lose that, if we some reason we get 50 basis point cut, what I'm going to be watching is a potential move down towards $46,000. I do believe as you start to pull up some indicators here, we have some take profit actually. We have major support at 51, but we have a take profit level starting at 48,000. It goes as low as 42. But when you mix this with our weekly chart, we have a massive order block. And in fact, this is a bullish breaker block, which means it's very strong, probably will not be lost. But it is a level that if we get bad news and if we start to feel the pressure of a recession, you could easily see Bitcoin's price make a move all the way down here towards 46,000. And I'll tell you this, as I kind of turn this stuff off, and I'm just taking a look at what's happening here, I'm going to leave some of these lines, even though they're kind of distracting. This would still really make this look a whole lot like what we had back here in 2020. 2019, 2020. We've talked about this comparison before, but Bitcoin during the bull market had itself a broadening wedge pullback. This one actually went down 50% before COVID, but because of COVID, because of that black swan scaring event, we had one more major move to the downside before the bull market would take off up into the right. Could we see a repeat of history where 50 basis points, if it happens, we see a flash crash down to 46, hit that level of support only to then start to slowly rebound despite the fact that people are freaking out about a recession? Some people in chat are saying, oh, bearish Tim. I actually disagree with you because first of all, I don't think 50 basis points can happen. My more realistic scenario is 25 basis points. I think we hit new all-time highs before the end of September or at least early October. But I'm so bullish that I'm saying even in a scenario where we get bad news and even in a scenario where we go down to a level that we have not seen since all the way back in February of 2024, I am still long-term bullish, and it would be working as an amazing spring for Bitcoin price to move to the upside. But here is actually a great transition to get into the main topic of today's show, because there's a lot of retail investors right now who are sitting on the sideline. They're contemplating capitulating because there's a heavy anticipation right now that we're going to be seeing a 50 basis point rate cut. Not here on this channel necessarily. I think you guys here are actually more bullish like me and T-Shroom about 25. But the economy as a whole or the retail investors as a whole still believe that 50 basis point is the more likely scenario. And that's going to cause them to capitulate and to sell. Guess who's not selling? Guess who just continues to buy over and over and over, no matter whether price is high or low or dipping or rallying? It is the institutions, which causes many people to say this just is not fair. It's not fair that the institutions are in the space. They're manipulating all of crypto. It's ruining what crypto was made to do. The whole point of cryptocurrency was to send money back to the people so that we could have all the power and take over the world, I guess is the best way people are kind of getting with it. You can be that way. You can decide to complain about the BlackRocks of the world, who, yes, the more and more Bitcoin they buy, the more and more they have the ability to manipulate the markets. That's just the fact. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm not going to paint a picture of a blue sky and green fields like T-Shroom did with the thumbnail. I'm going to tell you guys, institutions are going to be able to manipulate crypto. But manipulation goes two ways. Manipulation, when you hear that word, your first thought is they're going to crash it. Not necessarily. Manipulation also means they're going to pump it at the most inopportune times. When? They're going to pump it when you, the retail investor, feel the worst about the market. That's another form of manipulation. And you can sit on the sideline and cry about it. You can say that you don't like the institutions getting into crypto, but if we're being very honest, if you want to make money in the space, you need the institutions here. And they're the ones who are going to take us from currently sitting here around $60,000. They're the reason why Bitcoin in the next couple of years, not giving you a number on there, but it's going to be in the next couple of years, it's going to hit over $1 million per coin. With no institutions, that's not happening. There's just not enough pressure from just retail alone to get that to happen. But with them, it's absolutely going to happen. Do you whine and complain about it not being fair? Do you complain about institutions taking control? Or do you understand their game? Do you learn how to play the way they play, how to understand the way they talk, the way they walk, the way they do everything they do in the investing markets, and you get yourself a nice little bag on the side along with them? That's what we're here to help you guys with day in and day out. But let's go over to T-Shroom, because this is, again, it's a thing right now. We're still technically in a fear category with retail investors. People are predicting over and over and over again that we're going to be getting some sort of a major crash happening. But what are the institutions doing right now, T-Shroom? Are they freaking out? Are they acting like they're bears? Are they acting like they're scared about a recession? Give us some details about institutions.
Tim, I'm going to give you the rundown on what institutions have been doing over the last year, and we're going to start right here with the biggest one, the Central Bank of Norway and Swiss central banks. They're doubling down on Bitcoin by investing in MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin. But it doesn't stop there. Michigan Retirement System bought $6 million worth of a Bitcoin ETF. The Wisconsin Investment Board has bought $142 million in Bitcoin ETFs. And the Jersey City Pension Fund looking to make a 2% allocation into Bitcoin ETFs. The Kingdom of Bhutan yesterday came out as hodlers of a very significant amount, $780 million worth of Bitcoin. That's over 13,000 Bitcoins. Wouldn't you love to have a little slice of that back home?
Yes.
Let's see. And then in this one here, this is vastly becoming the MicroStrategies of Japan. Metaplanet's stock price, do you remember this headline, was up 670% when it was revealed that they had adopted Bitcoin as their primary treasury asset back in April. Their market cap went from $20 million to $160 million. That's institutional power. That's buying, right? And then just today, a publicly traded company, Cathedra, added Bitcoin to their primary treasury reserve asset. Now, it's a Bitcoin company. They do stuff in Bitcoin already, but that is institutional adoption. Yesterday, we got this tweet here from Brian Armstrong trying to defend his move over there at Coinbase for providing the over-the-counter services to BlackRock and other institutions. He said, this is what it looks like if you want a bunch of institutional money to flow into Bitcoin. So that is the rundown, bros. Institutions have been buying Bitcoin, but only after a few things have fallen into place. And yes, a few of those things do not work in favor of retail. But look, if we're ever going to get to 10 trillion, 15 trillion market cap under Bitcoin, you're going to have some of these unlocks that are unfavorable to retail, do go against the ethos of Bitcoin, but it is the new gold. And as Larry Fink put it, it is the flight to quality. That's how they're selling Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETFs to Wall Street. That's how this happens. That's how you get a Bitcoin in a $1 million, $2 million Bitcoin. You're not going to get it any other way. You have to get pension funds to buy in because it's just another tier of money that's required. You and I, the crypto nerds, we literally don't have enough money. We also don't have enough earning power to pump Bitcoin up to $1 million per coin. It's just not going to happen. You have to have the big funds come in. So that's what institutions have been doing, Tim.
Yeah, and even more so, the way this works, if people are wondering why people are complaining about it, a lot of the adoption T-Shroom is coming in the form of these ETFs. That was the whole story where Baldylocks, as he calls himself, Brian Armstrong, right, CEO of Coinbase, he's addressing concern and complaints about how Coinbase is handling all of this, because all of these ETFs, if you're newer to the space, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. You found the right channel. Hit the subscribe button to watch our content. We are focusing on helping you navigate the markets every single day to understand it so that you can change your life forever with your investments. When you buy an ETF, when anybody buys an ETF, they are not actually purchasing Bitcoin. Right, this is where you get the experienced long-term retail investors who've been around the block. They're complaining about this because you want to know who actually is buying the Bitcoin? It's the institutions. What do I mean by that? Well, when I buy an ETF, let's pretend T-Shroom is the CEO of a major company that offers a Bitcoin ETF, and I buy his Bitcoin ETF. Well, I might own that ETF that is the equivalence. Let's say I bought a whole Bitcoin on it. I might own that ETF, which is the equivalence of one Bitcoin. So I bought it at 60,000. If Bitcoin goes to 150,000, my ETF purchase is worth 150,000. If it goes to $1 million, it's worth $1 million. However, the question I ask is, do I own Bitcoin? And the simple answer is no. Who owns that Bitcoin? T-Shroom. And effectively, T-Shroom got to purchase that Bitcoin with my money, but it belongs to him. Well, what does that mean? If there's a bunch of people who, rather than buying Bitcoin for themselves, go and buy T-Shroom's ETF, now all of a sudden T-Shroom, with no purchasing power of his own, could have a massive majority of Bitcoin all to himself. This is what we would call centralization, and people are extremely afraid of this. Now, I'll start by saying, even if BlackRock continues the trajectory, there are so many holders of Bitcoin that are going to keep it from being extremely centralized where one person has control. But we are heading to a place, and I believe we're probably already there, where the top one, probably 0.1% of crypto holders own more than 99% of it. If we're not there already, we're going to get there, right? I guess we're probably not there yet, but it's the trajectory of just like the rest of wealth. You're going to have your Michael Saylors, your BlackRocks, your U.S. government, your Chinese government, your Russian government, your governments of all kinds. They're going to be owning Bitcoin in the hundreds of thousands, where you and me are just trying to get a hold of one. People don't like this. The good news is there's enough of these centralized entities that they're going to keep it diversified, and they're going to keep one person having too much power. But also, if you don't think that this was the plan of Satoshi Nakamoto the whole time, then you are kidding yourselves. Why? Because we might enter into a season where Bitcoin is held by a small minority of people. The majority of it's held by a small majority of people. But if the laws of economics continue to ring out, and I believe that they will, this is the perfect scenario still to take power back from the people that control us at the moment, these centralized agencies. Even if they own the majority of Bitcoin, they still have to play by the strict rules of Bitcoin. They can't print Bitcoin into oblivion. They can't create it out of thin air. They have to play by that strict. There's only 21 million of them. You have to have an answer for everything that happens in the Bitcoin space. It's all on the blockchain itself, so we can track where coins are going, where they're coming to. But there's a quote that I want to remind people of. We said on this channel before from Friedrich Hayek, and he said this back in 1984, and it rings so true today. And it's almost like he knew Bitcoin was coming. Maybe he didn't know the name, but he knew there was going to be an answer. And I want to read this. I want to go to my screen and read this, and let's talk about why this is so amazing. Friedrich Hayek, 1984, said, "I don't believe we shall ever see or ever have a good money again before we take the thing out of the hands of the government." All right, so we have to have a revolution of some kind. That is, we can't take it violently out of the hands of the government, but all we can do is by some sly, roundabout way introduce something that they can't stop. You guys are familiar with the Trojan horse story. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. We on the retail are freaking out about the institutional markets, the governments taking control of Bitcoin. In reality, they could never control Bitcoin if they wanted to. But rather, as they want to continue to gobble wealth, as we shift a world from a system of broken currency, meaning dollars backed by nothing but the word of men and women in Washington, D.C., that's very broken, and we're shifting to a type of money system that has rules, that has laws, that has the ability to make sure that people understand where money and value is actually flowing. They can own a lot of it right now. That's completely fine. It doesn't change the fact that they cannot stop or change what it is, and it is the future of currency. And the laws of economics would dictate, if they want it to continue to be valuable, it's got to keep moving around. If one day, all of a sudden, everyone who owns Bitcoin just stands still and doesn't do anything with it, I'm not saying the value will go to zero, but it'll definitely start to diminish, because what good is an item that doesn't move and have liquidity? I'm not saying that we're going to use Bitcoin for everyday purchases. I'm not saying you're going to use Bitcoin down at your local Walmart. But large institutions, large governments will settle debt by exchanging Bitcoin in the same way that up until like the 70s, the majority of the world, or I guess actually up until like World War II, the majority of the world operated with a gold-backed money of some kind. We might have had paper, but ultimately everybody knew it. When the piper comes a-calling, there's got to be gold somewhere that if the debtor ever asked for it, it would be transferred. Well, when fiat currency was initiated back again in the early 1900s and then went worldwide in the 70s when America gave up their gold-backed dollar, all of a sudden the only form of value that actually matters is the value that a singular entity, that being a government, were to say is valuable. I know I'm spinning a web here, but ultimately Bitcoin is sound money. You cannot manipulate it. You cannot control it. This would bring back power. This will bring back value. This will bring back wealth to the world that actually still allows for a fair system, even if the majority of it is held by a minority of people. It still brings us back to the strongest economics the world's ever seen, back when we had gold-backed money. This is even stronger. We have money backed by Bitcoin. We have governments and institutions holding Bitcoin. That is the future of wealth, and it's what brings the power back to the people, even if you don't hold Satoshis as in great quantities like they do. As a whole, the reason I'm saying that this title and this video is all crypto holders are going to miss out. If you sit on the sideline during this golden opportunity, if you choose rather, instead of purchasing Bitcoin and purchasing cryptocurrencies, to pick up a picket sign and try to have some sort of revolution against the man, against the institutions, against the governments, if you're asking for some reason to get them out of cryptocurrency, they're not going to care about what your opinion is. They're going to keep on buying it. And ultimately, they're going to make a lot of money, and I'm going to make a lot of money, and some of you out there that understand the future are going to make a lot of money. But all of these revolutionaries, all these people complaining and saying it's not fair that the institutions have control of crypto, they're going to lose out, and they're going to lose out on the opportunity of a lifetime to change their wealth forever. This is something that I urge you guys, please, please, please. I'm not giving financial advice because I don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But I urge you guys to become like a suckerfish. Don't complain about the size of the whale. Attach yourself to the whale. Make the same moves in the investment worlds they make. Change your wealth forever. And again, Bitcoin, it is something that, despite the fact that people will control it, just like a Trojan horse, it will destroy that centralized entity from the inside out. It'll bring power back to the people. You just gotta be patient.
Absolutely, Tim. That's really, really well put. And in case you don't know what Tim's referring to, I've got a suckerfish here pulled up. This is a fish that has a symbiotic relationship with a whale. It sucks off the dead skin cell of the whale, and in exchange, it gets free transportation around the ocean. So pretty cool. Great comparison there, Tim. I did also bring up this that I wanted to show everybody. This is the current percentage holdings of Bitcoin. So Coinbase currently has the top hodler of Bitcoin, and then you've got Binance, BlackRock, Fidelity, and these are their ETFs. They're in custody. Grayscale, Bitfinex, and it drops off a percentage at Kraken. Okay, so 99% of Bitcoin is very far from being held by 1% of the population. It's going to be a long time. Now, what I will say is all these are institutions, right? You don't have Joe Bob or somebody's name, right? These are all institutions, and you don't have anything other than institutions for quite a while, other than these unknown addresses and stuff. So, just so everybody's tracking, I believe that it will be a very long time before a small group of people own enough to do anything significant with the Bitcoin protocol. So,
I want to address something here. So, Shuzin JC said a handful of rich people own everything. It is the same with crypto right now. World will never change. And I'm not saying that you're making a statement here, but I want to make sure you guys understand. There's a level of what you're saying is right. That is just how human nature will work. There will always be people who want to acquire wealth, and there will be people who want to sit back and complain why other people are wealthy and they are not. Now, I'm hoping that we keep governing agencies that allow us to not create class systems that prevent people from lower levels from getting into the higher levels. But you're absolutely right. There is nothing that is going to change the fact that there will always be very, very wealthy people and there will always be very, very poor people. But the conditions of why people are wealthy and why people are poor will be massively improved with the backing of something like Bitcoin. Like there are millions of people in the world right now that are poor, and it is not because they have bad work ethics or not dreamers or not creative. It is because they live in some sort of environment, governing agency that literally oppresses and keeps them down. But you want to know one of the biggest reasons why you have the ability to oppress people and keep them down comes from a lack of having a strong money. I urge all of you guys to go read the book, The Bitcoin Standard. It is eye-opening, not only as to why you should buy Bitcoin, but just how important solid money is to the world and how it functions. There will always be rich, there will always be poor. But when there's transparency, when there's trustless systems, when there's rules and solid money as to how value flows, it makes it a lot easier to create governing agencies that are not corrupt. It makes it easier to create a platform where the poor can work their butt off to become wealthy. It also makes it so that if you're wealthy and you're lazy, you can become poor very easily. It levels the playing field, not in the sense of everyone has the same thing, but everybody has the same ability to either work very hard and grow or to slack off and lose. That is something I think the world needs very much. I think it is something that will fix, again, I'm not going to go into details like he does in the Bitcoin Standard, but the amount of problems we see in the world right now that could be fixed if we only had a solid form of money, it's astronomical. Bitcoin is the future. And so even that concept of saying, man, there's always going to be rich, always going to be poor. Yes, but you know what? If right now you consider yourself a poor person because of things like Bitcoin, that can change. Do you want to be one of the top 1%? I'll be honest with you guys. I don't want to be a 1%er. I want to live a nice, healthy life, grow my family, take care of them, prepare them for their lives, and live it in a life that I have relative comfort. I don't need to be a billionaire. I have no desire to be a billionaire. I have no desire to be in the top 1%. But if you do, the path to getting there goes through Bitcoin, through how it functions, through how you hold it, through how you invest in it. This is the answer. So even that concept of there's always rich, always poor, yes, but Bitcoin changes everything.
Yep. Absolutely, Tim. It's really, really well put. Outside of there's not a lot of news. There's not a lot of news today. No. It's really just kind of everybody's holding their breath for the big Fed day tomorrow, which, by the way, it sounds like we're going to be on live 1:50 p.m. So Eastern Standard Time. So 1:50 is when you'll want to tune in. That'll be moments before the release. That'll be 10 minutes before the release, and probably about a half hour before Jerome takes the stage to debrief the world about its future. And that's obviously September. Now the next cut will be in November, or I guess the next decision will be November, and then December we get one as well. So skip October, something to keep in mind there. October is skipped. But that's really the extent of the news. There was a data point, though, I wanted to share with you all. We've been watching the ETF inflows, and we've had our third day. It's kind of small to see, but there's a third histogram. It's just barely green from yesterday, the 15th. I'm sorry, just from the 15th. So we'll get the 16th tonight. But that's bullish, right? The last time we had 3 in a row, you had to go all the way back here to the 25th of August. So quite a bit back, and that's bullish though. So, and again, if you didn't watch our episode yesterday, I also pointed out that on the weekly charts, whenever we get a green sprout for the first time after red histograms, we've had this has happened twice, then it becomes explosive. So far, we're not seeing that explosion higher quite yet. So theory not supported, hypothesis not supported thus far, but still bullish, much more bullish than bearish there for Bitcoin. And it's an exciting time, Tim. Tomorrow is the beginning of the Fed pivot. More than likely, they're going to come out and cut by 25, 50, 75, whatever it's going to be. It's very unlikely that they're going to keep it paused here, and that's going to initiate a Fed transition, right, from quantitative tightening to neutral stance, then to quantitative easing. And this is a pivot. This is a moment where markets are jittery. They get volatile. And you should expect that. You should trade accordingly and invest accordingly, right? If you don't have a lot of confidence in your trading abilities quite yet, this might be a time to just watch, right, and learn, or paper trade, right? Nothing wrong with that, or just trade with like vastly smaller percentage of your trading account would be my recommendation. And I say that because there's going to be volatility that defies what we usually see on the charts. So, just something to keep in mind there.
Yeah, we're about to enter, because like T-Shroom said, not a lot of news here. We're going to have lots of times for Q&A. We can look at coins. We can keep talking about this discussion. We can answer any questions you guys have. Before the factoid of the day, though, let's look here. I like what Kyle Field says, your bank account is a reflection of your habits. It's absolutely true. It's very, very true. It'll reflect, do you work really hard? Do you not work really hard? Do you spend a lot? Do you not spend a lot? Because bank account doesn't just tell your total. It says how much is coming in and how much is going out. It says a lot about who you are as a person. What's the most likes y'all have ever gotten? Good question. I think one time we made it to like 600 on the live stream.
I think we might have broken
while we were live. No, we've had videos get well over 1,000 likes by the time it's all said and done. Yeah. I took that question as what's the most likes you got during a live show. Speaking of, we're at 375. So I feel pretty good about us getting to that 400 and doing a $50 giveaway. I'll tell you this. I'm going to throw this on T-Shroom right here. I think I sprung the last one on him as well. We'll do 2 $50 giveaways because I didn't put it high enough, if we hit 600 and we match that high. So only an additional 300 likes. We absolutely should go ahead and do that. If you're on X, come over to YouTube, smash the like button, hit it on both. That helps a lot. We have 740 people watching T-Shroom. Yeah. So it's not even like every single person has to smash like. That being said, if you are watching right now, smash the like and you could win $50.
Absolutely.
Now, go ahead and do that. Let's get to 600, but we're about to hit 400 right now.
Let's get to 600. Now, Tim, earlier today we had deep takes at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time in the Discord. You can access that in the link below. But today we had a great conversation, and it's wandering. Look, it's a lot different. The conversation we have in deep takes a lot different from what we talk about on the show. We really hold back here on the show. We just try to keep it what's going to affect your crypto portfolio, and we try to keep it extremely PG. Well, today we had a really, really good conversation, and there's a deep take that has made its way into the comment here, Tim, into the chat. Joseph Laposa said, I think BlackRock and our government want everyone to hop into crypto thinking this amazing thing will happen and then dump it to make everyone lose faith in it. That's quite a take. That's quite a take.
So it's a good take. That is what happened back in March. If you guys don't remember this, I'm not saying that we call every single bottom and top perfectly, but I vividly remember making a content when we were hovering around $70,000. We were coming up on the halving. There were so many articles, so many reasons that people were pumping out, you should be so bullish. And I said, if you look at history, this is actually a time to get bearish. It's a time to pull back. People called me Bearish Tim. Of course, all the perma bears usually actually flipped bullish at this time. That's another bad sign, like Capo and others. But I called for a pullback. I said I think that we're going to pull back. I think I said 30%. Did we get 30? But let's check this to make sure. Back in March, I think I said, oh, you know what? I didn't say 30. I said we're going to match the others, and we're about 20, 25%. We ended up pulling back further, but I thought we were going to pull back down here towards $54,000, $55,000. We did dip a little bit lower than that, so my mistake. I did not pinpoint it perfectly. But I said, despite the fact that everything in the news was positive, the fact that we were looking forward to the April halving event, and everyone was saying it's time to buy. With that thought, the conspiracy that you have is not a conspiracy theory. It's actually what I would consider one of the laws of investing. Is when there's so much optimistic, bullish, opinion-based pieces, and everyone seems overly positive about markets, more often than not, that is when the BlackRocks, the institutions, that's when they will flip it on you, and they'll send the price to the downside. And they'll do it to convince you, or they'll convince you that something good is going to happen, only to dump the markets, to break your soul and break your spirit, and now you live in a world of denial where you get to a place where you're like, we're never going to go up. Like, how many people, T-Shroom, have we even seen in our community who used to be super bullish who are now just like, I give up on crypto. This is never going to go up. Guys, I think we messed up. I think we're going to end the early top here. 73 was the top. We're never going above, yada, yada, yada. That's breaking the spirit. Getting fear back down, I think we touched below 20 here at one point. That is breaking people's spirit. That's the scenario. When everything is high and everything seems good, that's when they're about to manipulate price to the downside. And when everything's low, when everyone's discouraged and everyone's freaking out and everyone's capitulating, which is what we've seen happen here recently, that is when the price will go up. Now, you might be saying, Tim, I've held tight. I haven't given up hope. You, my friend, are a winner. You're what we call a hodler. Our community, we've done a great job, T-Shroom. I want to brag on you guys watching right now who encourage us, not just me and T-Shroom, it's you guys every single day. When we put these polls in on, are you bullish or now are you bearish? Are you doing this, that? We always get great numbers. We have a very overall bullish community. That is not the case if you go out into the rest of the world. That is not the case if you look at, open and honest polls. Most people are freaking out right now. Most people are convinced that crypto is at least done for now, that we're about to enter into a massive recession. This is how the game is played. Everything right now seems bearish. They're trying to convince us the 50 basis point cut is coming. The talks of recession are heating up. The talks of more and more wars. I mean, even today I saw another article that was like, oh, America might find itself in another war escalation. These are all things to scare you into selling your assets and then just holding that cash, preparing for a major recession. But they're buying. And that's what I urge you guys to look at. Look at what the big boys are doing, not what they're saying. Are they buying? You should be buying. Are they selling? You should be selling. Are they pumping the market with positivity? You should be selling. Are they pumping the market with a lot of fear? You should be buying. These, like I said, it's like a law of investing, T-Shroom. It's called the composite man theory. I don't know if we've said that yet today, but we got to get that daily dose in there. The composite man, I talked about it very heavily in this morning's video, which is doing phenomenal. Go watch it afterwards. If you have not watched this morning's video, it's about 17 minutes long. I think it is going to be amazing for you, not just for this move, but understanding how these markets move overall. This is a video that will help you make good decisions for the rest of your investing life. That being said, this is how the game is played. You're dead on. I can't remember the name of the person that commented. You're dead on. They're going to pump the markets at times to convince you to buy, and then they're going to sell on you, but they're also going to drop the markets, convincing you to sell, and then they're going to buy on you. That is how the game works.
Yeah. That was from Joseph Laposa, who said, I still got my bags packed, though. So he's still a believer.
Okay, good, Joseph. You know what? The other thing I'll say all the time, I'm going to be short on this one. When you're newer to investing, and Joseph, I don't know if you are or not, but anyone who is, when you're new, your gut lies to you. When you feel like you need to sell, you probably should be buying. When you feel like you need to buy, you probably should be selling. That's another good sign. If people have a pit in their gut and they feel sick to their stomach, probably it's time to buy.
Luis said, if YouTubers are bearish, buy. If YouTubers are bullish, sell. It's that easy. throwing a little shade here
You're not.
on the Investing Bros. No, he's completely right.
No,
It depends what channel you're watching, though.
100%. And I mean, it's not that T-Stream and I don't ever watch any other YouTube channels, but I'm very aware of that as well. I sometimes you guys will notice if everything's overly bullish, we'll go bullish with our titles and everything. But if you guys watch us against other people, you will find us more often than not taking more of a contrarian point of view. I use that as well. Is everybody in YouTube, every content creator, are they overly bullish right now? That's not a good sign. Is there a lot of concern? You're never going to see YouTubers necessarily as a macro go into doom and gloom mode, but you'll see a lot of YouTubers posting questions and posting concern and saying, uh-oh, this could be bad. That's when everything tends to go bullish as well. And just so you know, I also encourage you guys, don't ever just look at our title and thumbnail and think you know what we're saying. There's a game when it comes to YouTube and content creation. You got to put something juicy up there to get people in here. But watch the videos. Watch us before you judge us. Watch us. And that goes for other content creators as well. Yeah. Watch the content and then make your assumption on if the person's right or wrong.
Lewis, I would be careful with this thesis here because it really does matter which YouTuber you're talking about. I would hate to see the trading account of someone who was seriously trading based off of this because, if you're trading based off of the Investing Bros, we're literally going through and digesting the news and the financial media landscape to show you all, what the whales are doing or what they're not doing and what retail's doing in those dynamics. So, a show like ours, we'll sometimes, take a position on which direction of the market we think it's going, but we're mostly commentating, right? We're mostly saying it's this individual, this institution said this. Is that an indication that markets are going to go up or down? Well, the probability is this. Historically, it's done this when X happened. So, whereas there are some YouTubers, and I would say the ones to really, really watch out for, and not just on YouTube, but anywhere, anybody, anywhere, just somebody on the street corner trying to get you to invest in something is when they have a very specific investment in mind that isn't widely adopted. We have a very specific investment in mind for you, and it's called Bitcoin. You should buy Bitcoin. Is it financial advice? No, it's awesome advice, scientific advice, right? But you should be very careful with somebody, shouting out specific coins. Now, T-Shroom, you guys talk about Cardano, you talk about Chainlink. Yeah, we have our favorite coins, of course, that we like, right? But when something has like a lower market cap, something south of 20 million, then you want to be real careful. And look, maybe you're getting into investing and trading for the first time, and you're like, T-Shroom, I like crypto, I really like Bitcoin, but all this just seems too complicated, it seems too risky, and it seems just really crazy. Look, but I really want to get involved in crypto. Look no further than the description down in this YouTube video that you're watching right now. Go check it out. We have a free Discord where you can come in and ask any question, no matter how dumb you might think the question is. It's not dumb if you're just getting started. We all started somewhere. Check out the link right here. Completely free Discord. You can just come in and ask any questions that you might have. Maybe your question is just, hey, how do I buy Bitcoin? I don't even know how to do that. Right, we can help you. We've helped thousands of people answer questions that they had about crypto. So, very, very good here. Some good questions, some good convo. I'm really loving it.
Shout out to Up and Adams saying, "I just want Tim to notice me. We both live in the same state. I notice you, Up and Adams. I guess that means you live in Georgia. Cool. Happy same state." Well, right now, I want you guys to know, and we're going to go back into this, not changing my bullish tone. Remember earlier in the show when I said if a certain level happens, you want to look for a trade? Just entered a short here on Bitcoin. Some of you noticed we're back below $60,000, but earlier, if you're watching, there was a bullish breaker block right here. I told you if that gets lost, and if we lose this red line, we're looking for a move down here towards 59,200, give or take. Did just enter while T-Shirt was speaking. I entered my short. I am up at the moment already about 10% almost because of my leverage. But this is just happening. This is a micro move. We got a lot of volatility. Guess what? Tomorrow with FOMC coming, there's going to be a lot of volatility right now, and there's going to be a lot of volatility afterwards. I expect the real direction of the market to be clear. Probably sometime late Thursday, early Friday is when we will get our clear direction of the market. Between now and then, though, get ready to make some good plays with the volatility. It is a coming. Long term, though, you go out to something like a weekly chart. There's a lot of upside. A lot of upside still coming. This is a very bullish chart on the weekly chart. It's just those little tiny ones, like the 1 hour, 5 minute, those ones. You got some volatility going, kind of nuts. T-Shroom, let's go ahead and jump into our factoid of the day. BX Bricklayer saying, much love, guys. God bless, 100%. God bless you as well, BX Bricklayer. Great name, by the way, too. Yeah, let's go ahead and get our factoid of the day, and we'll come back in and wrap up the show with some more Q&A and call it a day.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into our factoid of the day, as Tim just said, and it's going to be brought to you all by LuxAlgo. If you're looking for a great trading indicator, look no further than LuxAlgo. Tim, fact, the sun's surface gravity is 28.02 G.
Okay.
What is the surface gravity of Earth? A, 14 G, B, 12 G,
I have no
6 G, or Tim, is it D, 1 G? Come on, Tim, you got this. Use those brain cells. I know you've got at least 3 of them.
This one's not even. I see people are saying 1 in chat, but I don't know if that means D is in 1 gram or. We didn't say put a 1 in chat for anything, did we? Okay, now people are saying 1 gram. It's literally the base for comparison, is what's okay. So that was my only thought there. It's like, are we comparing the sun based off of the Earth? I don't know. I'm gonna go with D. It seems like chat is there. 1 gram is what we're gonna go with.
He's locking it in, folks.
We'll see what happens.
But is it right?
Hey,
there you go. Now you might be sitting there.
Here.
You are in a bit of a roll. The sun's surface gravity, G, is 28. Earth is 1, and it is the unit of measure. So Galileo and his bros, more than likely, probably wasn't even Galileo, but somebody like that was like, yo, gravity, we got to measure this, and let's measure it and say Earth is 1. So
yeah, and then just base everything else off of what Earth looks like. I mean, It makes sense.
Right. Would you have done something different, Tim? I feel like I would have done the same thing. If it was me, I
don't believe I have the brain cells to have ever been like a Newton or a.
If Sir Isaac Newton was like,
or...
T-Shroom, this apple just fell on my head. Gravity is a thing. We got to measure it. Me and you. We're going to go down in the history books.
I would have thrown another apple at you is honestly what would have happened if I was there.
Yeah.
So good for them, the thought outside the box.
You know what I probably would have said to Galileo? I probably would have said, you're not bullish enough on Bitcoin, Galileo.
The real question is was Galileo and Newton and all of them, were they just in on it? Is that conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
Is the world flat? Is space fake? Did we just make up these fake planets?
Were they just trying to convince the global population that gravity was real, only for everybody to buy into it, and then they flip the switch of gravity and it turns off, and it never really was here?
It was a part of their grand plan to acquire all of the Bitcoin in the world to manipulate it.
That's right.
Yeah, I think
we're having fun.
Stuff. All right, let's get some Q&A in here. Retro Mike Tech says the Earth is flat. Well, if Retro Mike Tech says it might be true. All right. Oh my goodness. Have you ever seen that clip? While I'm waiting on questions coming here, go ahead and start putting some questions in there, guys. The clip of the girl is like these girls talking, and she's like, "Why did they invent gravity? Like that was so dumb. We could have been flying this whole time. Why did they invent gravity?" Okay,
fair question.
Let's get our tinfoil hats on. Yeah, that's for deep takes. If you guys want to become a member and join T-Shroom's Tuesday Deep Takes, they talk about a lot of conspiracy theories in there.
It's basically all
a lot of fun.
It's, you know what, Tim? It's really not. I can understand why you'd say that. It's really not a lot of conspiracy theories. It's a lot of futurism. It's a lot of projecting, especially today. What is going to be the future of politics, of education, of transportation, all of these things, recreation. Will there even be money in the future? How will AI shake things up? It's all these things that a bunch of hyper intelligent people are getting together and melding the minds on. We have just been called flurfs, Tim. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but Ken Moonsome said, "Oh Lord, you guys are flurfs." I'm
going to take it as a compliment.
I'm not.
You too. You're a flurf too. Congratulations.
No, that is the most offensive term I've ever heard.
You don't know, so how would you ever? Username says, "Hey Tim and Shroomy." Username here.
Oh, good.
Thank you. And just wondering if you guys missed me yesterday. Who am I kidding? Of course you guys did. P.S. VT is the best ever, and they're my number one favorite team on the planet. Well, that's so thoughtful, username. Thank you for that.
Another Virginia Tech fan in the chat. That's nice
he's a big Virginia Tech fan, it looks like. Can we get thoughts for Sheeb? Just curious your thoughts about this coin. I used to not like Sheeb at all. I was not a Sheeb believer. Do I have it saved as one of the coins I watch? I don't know if I do. But I've turned on it. I'm not saying that Sheeb's going to be your greatest investment in the world. I'm not saying it's going to be the thing that makes you the most money in this bull market. But I'm not a Sheeb hater anymore. I think that there still is room to the upside. Let's take a look at kind of just some let's look at the daily chart. Let's not do any short-term TA here with Sheeb. Let's just look at the daily chart. You go to my screen here. Falling. Nope. What? You seem convinced of something.
No, you're good. Keep going. We'll come back to it.
Okay. All right. Falling broadening wedge, very similar to Bitcoin. I mean, effectively, I could probably change this and go up here. But we've been hovering on the bottom side of it here for sure. But it does look for the first time. I mean, you have some bounces and positive moves, bounce to positive moves. This time, after the positive move, we dropped back down to this level. So there's definitely something special about 4 zeros and then like a 1, 2, 4, 3, I guess, if you want to get technical with it. Let's take a look at what Lux is saying. Again, if you guys want to be trading these markets, Lux Algo is the best tool to do so. You can check out the link down below. Right now, we are technically under a sell signal that has a take profit way down at like 4 zeros and 1 0. We'll see if that happens. I'm not saying it can't. And in fact, if we get bad news from the FOMC, that target, the second target, might even still be on the table where we get down to 5 zeros and then we get a 6. But let's see what our Lux Algo indicator is saying. We, just like everything else, got, that was not a buy signal. No green reversal down here. Did get positive money flow, did get all of this positivity. And that would say potentially we could make a resistance level back up here at 4 zeros, 159. But I like what I'm seeing from a more macro perspective here. Let's check out the weekly chart as well. Yeah, we bounced off of a large support level on the weekly chart with that big wick we had back in early August. This is a coin that clearly it had a very explosive couple of days in February, but that just shows you there's still a community there to buy it. It's not alt season right now. It's not meme season right now. So it's not something to necessarily get worried about, the fact that it's not up right now. In fact, I would look at this and say, well, from the high of this year, it is currently down 71%. Lot more room to the upside than there is downside, unless you think that the project's going to die. And as I kind of started this whole analysis off, I don't think that Sheeb is going to die whatsoever. I think this is something that still eventually does make a bigger move to the upside, but it's about alt season, and alt season is not here yet. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart just continuing to move to the upside here on the weekly chart, on its way up towards 60% dominance. Another thing that we've been calling here on the channel for almost since we started the channel, honestly. But I like Sheeb. I don't hold it. But if someone were to do a portfolio review with me and they said I'm holding Sheeb, it wouldn't be the first thing that I'm looking at and saying you got to get rid of that. If you have conviction, go for it. It's one that you can hold for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so the revelation
revelation
before we went to the Sheeb chart was because we were talking about flat Earth. So a flurf, was it? We were called
a flurf.
So that is people who believe in flat Earth, and that kind of makes sense. I didn't know.
It's not that insulting if you actually believe in flat Earth, because then you're like, yes, you're right. That's like me calling you a guy that wears a hodl hat.
Yeah, but we don't believe.
You are wearing a hodl hat, so thanks for the compliment.
It's not so much of an insult as just a mislabeling, is what you're saying.
Now, I will say, I'm going to be very honest. I'm not a flat earther. I do want to put that out there for everybody.
I don't like where this is going, Tim.
I'm not
you got me in the first half.
So maybe I should be insulted by being called a flurf since I'm not a flurf. But the reality is I just don't care. T-shirt, it's 359.
You don't care if the earth is flat or not?
I don't care about being called a flurf.
I see.
And ultimately, that's the other thing is I've lived my entire life at this point. I'm 30 years old. Whether the earth is flat or not, I'm still here. And I was about to say the world is just going to keep on spinning, but not if it's flat.
You know what? What's funny is like if you can ask ChatGPT what is the proof that the world is not flat, and it gives you a pretty good answer. Because sometimes if you've never actually been on an airplane, you maybe have never seen the curvature of the Earth, right? Okay. So some people could be convinced.
I am on the same side as brand new here that says, can we not with the flat earthing? I agree. Let's just not.
That's true.
Let's not with the flat earth.
We're done.
If you guys have more questions, here is the thing. We're going to be done with the show here in a second. We're going to do a giveaway. We got to 500 likes, so not 2 giveaways. We'll just use 1. But if you want more Q&A, literally right after the show, today we have Q&A. I'm going to be going in there, dropping a Zoom link in the VIP trading group. So look for that link, and we're going to jump in and do a little bit of Q&A today. But the giveaway, we got $50. Let's choose one person here, T-Shrew. And I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna scroll, and you have to comment if you're the winner. Where's my mouse? It looks like the winner.
It can't be Retro Mike.
It's not Retro Mike, I promise. It's Tony Roses, and his comment was, "How do you prove that?" with a lot of these emojis. Tony, if you want to win, are you still here, Tony? First of all, comment if you are still here, Tony. I haven't seen your comment here.
Even if you're driving. Especially if you're driving.
Go ahead. To collect your fee, make sure to join the Discord and message T Shroom. Make sure it's him. I think his says like T Shroom. I will never DM you or whatever. Make sure you message him, and that is how you'll collect your $50. I'll just go ahead and put it out here. Every day, we will do a $50 giveaway every day that we hit over 500 likes on a live show. If we hit 500 likes on a live show while we're live before 4 o'clock, we'll do $50 giveaways every single day. So that you guys got to come in every day. Make sure you stick around all the way through. You smash the like button, and you got a chance to win $50. That's going to wrap up today's show. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Even though we're not going to get to 600 by the end of this stream, we'll get to 600 eventually. Smash that like button on your way out. Also, that's not the only button you should smash. Smash that subscribe as well. And over on X, hit the follow and like as well for more content just like this. It was a great show. A lot of great information. We had a lot of fun, lighthearted as well. That is what you get here with the bros. Great information while having a great time. Make sure to join that VIP trader group and come join me for members-only Q&A starting in just a couple of minutes. That being said, love you guys. See you tomorrow.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shouted out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got your word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.